Hey, Gutfoxx here. Today we got MUT Men episode number 65. Today I'm joined, as always, by Mr. the Texas boy. How you doing?
Doing good, man. Doing good. Summer is nice out here. It's hot and windy, which is annoying. But other than that, it's going pretty well.
Wait, is Colorado hotter than Texas? Like hot and windy?
No,
Isn't that something you should
no,
be used to?
no. Texas is humid and hot, whereas Colorado's just dry heat, but like the wind is just like something I didn't account for. Be going outside like it's a nice day, then all of a sudden the wind blows so hard it starts raining. I'm like, why we got clouds right now? Like, why is there rain clouds overcasting? So that's the one difference between Texas and Colorado.
That's true. Colorado does have that ocean breeze off it that the mountains all hold up and stuff. But anyways, getting on to our two guests today. We're double teaming it. First up, I'll go with Saharajoe because, I don't know, it comes first in the alphabet. So, Joe, how's it going?
Good. How you guys doing?
Not so bad. So, Joe, well, let me introduce Worms first, too. Worms, how you doing?
Hey, everybody.
Yeah. So
Good,
we got
good.
good. So we got two moderators of the MUT subreddit here with us, and we'll maybe talk about near the end the MUT subreddit and going into 18 as I think of that one. But let me run down the agenda quick here for us all, and then we'll get into talking about you guys and Texas's nice interaction and whatnot. So, all right, we're going to start off. We're going to talk about the random ultimate ticket for the milestone collectibles. We're going to talk about Jake Stein and his mentioning a new reward for head-to-head players, traits next year or thresholds next year, long shot 4th of July promo, any other content coming for the rest of 17. What do you think MUT 18 will be like? Jared Goff's card today, and then maybe a little shenanigans at the end like the MUT subreddit and some other stuff that I saw on Twitter. So let's start off right away introducing Worms. Joe, you've been on the podcast, so I'm going to put you off till second. Worms,
Perfect.
Can you give a little bit about your history in Madden, your competitiveness, and how long you've been playing and whatnot?
Yeah, I've just been playing probably since the first Madden. It's just something always that I've had a lot of fun doing. I've been around to a lot of the Madden challenges back on PS2 and Xbox 360 days, and now I just pretty much play competitive head-to-head
Good.
online from my basement.
Nice.
My basement, not my mom's.
It's a well-earned basement, moving up in the world. So we'll get into RNG and competitive Madden going forward a little bit later. But Joe, you're also a moderator of the MUT sub. Tell us a little bit, give us a little brief rundown of yourself for those people who may not remember you.
I've also been playing Madden as long as I can remember. I've played it back on tons of different consoles. I don't play I kind of do both solos and head-to-head. I'm not against solos or anything like that, like some people I know. Gutfoxx.
Low blow, Joe. Low blow.
I don't know. I've been playing MUT since 15. I kind of got hooked into it in like the Halloween, Thanksgiving time, and been in it ever since. So
yeah, for those, Joe is a hell of a solo grinder. He's the one who had all those milestones. That video I put out a few days ago, that was him and I have shared accounts, but he did all those milestone solos and graciously allowed me to open them for all those ultimate tickets, and we'll get back to that. But Joe, you were bragging about how you did better numbers than Cookie Boy from your guys' podcasts.
It was probably because Sly was on there, but
oh,
no.
So Sly
it was Sly's send off.
Oh,
who's that?
What's that? Who said that?
I said, who is that?
Cookie Boy?
No, Sly.
Oh, Sly.
No, I think I was the last guest that you guys ever had before Sly left. So I don't know. But I think it's mostly due to the fact that this is the off season and not that many people are still into the game. But yeah, it's kind of interesting that one of the biggest YouTubers didn't get that many views on the podcast as I did, and I'm a nobody. So
yeah. It's because I wasn't there. That's the reason why.
Oh, right.
That's true too.
We didn't have the Texas drop.
Missing half the host.
So I got a question for you guys. What do you think's a bigger number? The number of people recording this podcast, or the number of people listening to it?
It's probably the same.
Four people recording right now. 4 people are going to listen to it.
That's not true. Our moms will all listen to it too, so it'll be 8.
Fair enough.
Our moms.
Fair enough. All right. So I want to hear about what you guys' thoughts on the random ultimate ticket that we got for the milestone collectibles. We got 30 gold milestone collectibles and 15 elite milestone collectibles, and we were able to trade those in, basically keeping your stuff in your binder if you held them and it didn't quick sold them. Like I saw so many people do them. You got a random ultimate ticket. Texas, what are your thoughts on this first?
Can you go ahead and say that I was right about the milestones being the best promo EA did all year?
Yeah, yep, you were right, 100%.
And I need you to say it like that, though. Like, Texas, you are the greatest, and we'll never doubt you and your excellence.
Texas, you're the greatest. We'll never doubt you again.
Appreciate it. Yeah, I was pretty excited about it, man. Like, I stopped playing those a while ago, like back in April, because there was no point. The milestone collectibles and the sets were just not great. They kept doing high overall players. So I stopped playing, but fortunately, I had a bunch of my reserves where I could at least get 4 ultimate tickets. And the dudes that were grinding it the entire year and the EA dropping that set out of nowhere to give us ultimate tickets, which were, if you all being honest, it's way too expensive for the average player to get. It's pretty awesome that they decided to go ahead and do that.
Yeah. Joe, what are your thoughts?
Worked out pretty well for me. I mean, I haven't been. I was pretty religious about doing it. I remember the beginning of the year, that Julio Jones came out, and it required so many milestone collectibles, and I was short on doing it, and it took me like 2 weeks to get it. And I think you could have made a lot of profit if you milestoned it that first day. Mm-hmm. So I just kind of decided that I wanted to make sure I had enough to like 2 weeks worth of milestones at least or more. And just kept doing the solos. The milestones kind of turned to meh, where they weren't really worth doing them. I kept doing the solos, and I quit doing them probably May, maybe. I would maybe do them if I was like going for the loyalty objectives or something like that, just to, do something. But yeah, no, I had like, several hundred of them in my binder, so that worked out pretty well.
Nice. It clearly did. Worms, what are your thoughts on that free? Wow, I can't speak. Free ultimate ticket.
I think it's a great idea to keep people playing. I was kind of aggravated because I quick sold about 60 gold and probably about 20 elite ones like 4 weeks ago. Ooh. Because I was cleaning out my binder. But I think probably the idea was to get people to play and keep playing until the end of the year. And I'm actually sitting here right now grinding milestone solos. Trying to get to another ultimate ticket.
So we don't have your full attention for the podcast, huh?
No, yeah.
Oh,
Dude, these are solos.
I'm guessing half a brain of Worms is more than a full brain of a normal person, right?
Yeah, it's pretty full.
Okay, fair enough. So my opinions on it, and all of us have pretty decent teams. I know Worms, you're kind of getting like an NAT team together. But me and Joe,
96 overall.
Yeah, we didn't actually lose that much value because they're NATs and the price and the market of these cards didn't go down too much, quite like the fan appreciation weekend and the way those sunk the prices. But I don't know, there was something special beforehand about having an NAT card and the fact that they rewarded solo grinders only these things. Like, do you think? Imagine this never happened, and instead, for all these extra milestone collectibles and elite milestones. First off, that they did actually good milestones for cards, and then instead of the ultimate tickets, which are the best cards in the game, they gave random 95 to 98 overalls out of those packs for a certain amount of milestones and what have you. So would the community's sentiment be much different? Would the solo grinders still be super excited about these milestones, or was the ultimate tickets needed? Texas.
Probably need it because at this point in the game, there's not much for us to do. And if you're grinding solos and you don't have a good team and you have all these collectibles in your binder just sitting away, there's not really much they can give you to, I guess, help you out. This is kind of like the cool shock factor because we haven't had a set like this in Madden. I don't think ever where you get rewarded an ultimate ticket or golden ticket for just playing solo challenges.
Yeah.
So I think that golden ticket price tag, golden ticket name is the reason why people were more excited about it. It could have easily gave us, like you said, like 99 overall ultimate legend players and stuff like that. But I think just getting the best cards in the game were what we needed.
What are your thoughts on it, Joe?
I think that the current community that's playing the game would have been perfectly fine with, what if they had done the same requirements and they gave you a NAT set ultimate legend, like 97 to 99, even, whatever. But I think the idea is a week ago we had the solos for a free NAT Ultimate Ticket. It brings people that may have moved on from the game back, like, oh my gosh, they're giving us a free Ultimate Ticket. Or the people that did milestone solos, have moved on to a different game, but then they're like, oh wait, maybe I have those in my binder, and they're free Ultimate Tickets. They're the best cards in the game, So I think that it was more of a try to bring, the community that left back, and also obviously rewarding and the people that are still playing. But I think that it was more to that fact.
I got you. Worms, any thoughts on that part? Like, would the community have been as happy if it was like a random 95 to 98 overall?
Yeah, I think everybody would have been excited, but with them making it the Ultimate Tickets, that makes people are going to keep playing the next 8 weeks to do those challenges to try to get 1 or 2 more Ultimate Tickets.
Yeah. Yep. I guess as one of the 2 people on here who has a full Ultimate Ticket squad, it feels like it makes it less special, but I don't know. I think a lot of people have kind of said it's near the end of Madden 17, but is it though? Like, I'm gonna be playing Madden 17 throwback games and other Madden 17 games for the next 5 years. Like, do you guys consider this the end of Madden 17, or will you be coming back to this game at all, Texas?
Well, I already contended that the end of the game was when they dropped Ultimate Master. That's when Madden was done. Yeah, so it's been done for a while in my book. It's just been kind of going through the motions at this point with all the promos dropping and all the stuff that they're doing. But I don't know, this game is, I guess it's just kind of, we're all fatigued at this point. We'll probably all come back and play this game in the future just so we can do obviously stuff for YouTube. But I guess as a casual fan, you're probably not going to be playing this game after this year's over with.
That's true. Joe, what are your thoughts on that? And do you think people next year in Madden 18 are going to talk about how good Madden 17 was compared to that year?
I think, they really did a big turnaround the last couple weeks. They talked to us a month ago, and we were all kind of like, whatever. There's no interest in 17. And I think that they've really turned it around the last couple of weeks with fan appreciation, with all the other things they've been doing. Different kinds of sets, the year in review, and the campaign, and all that stuff is bringing new concepts and program ideas. And I think it's cool that it's going to kind of transition into 18. And I think that getting the good feelings about getting a free Ultimate Ticket or Ultimate Tickets or whatever, getting cards you may have never gotten are going to probably keep people's minds on that rather than, where we were kind of all down in the dumps, a month or 2 months ago, where there wasn't really a point to the game.
Yeah, that's a really good point. Leave us with good feelings on the way out of 17, moving into 18. But I'm just going to say this. Let me know what you guys think. The game's really taken a turn for the better since me and Texas had Jake on the podcast. Coincidence? I think not. Hey,
That's
Worms.
True.
Yeah.
It's deep and true.
It's totally us. So, Worms, what are your thoughts? Are you going to come back to 17 when 18 is in full swing? Are you kind of done with Maddens once their year moves on?
Yeah, once the new game comes out, like with the competitive stuff when it ended, I was pretty much done, but I still play a little bit of head-to-head just to get my Madden fix. But when the new game comes out, I won't play the old one.
Okay, I got you. Hey, now what do you guys think about head-to-head rewards? Jake Stein was quoted on Twitter as saying that he's got something else in mind for head-to-head players when talking about somebody asked about the set for Ultimate Tickets for head-to-head. Now, why didn't you think they did a head-to-head reward like they did for milestones, Joe?
I think that they're just trying. Obviously, there's more people that play solos than head-to-head. I know that they've said that before, or maybe it's people that farm it or whatever, but that's something that's more achievable by the normal person that's playing at this point rather than all Madden Super Bowls. I still think, like you said, that they're going to do something. I don't know, what it will be. But, I think that, the rewards were pretty even throughout most of the year, kind of slightly tilted towards solo players. And obviously, the last 2 weeks have been very heavily tilted that way. So hopefully they do something for, head-to-head for, this year and, something for different for next year. Obviously, we'll have the weekend league, so that will be very cool to see. But
it's a good point. Yeah, so they have something it's already kind of stalled for 18. I do hope that weekend league is amazing. So, Worms, what do you think? What's the in your opinion, what should head-to-head rewards look like? Is now okay, or do you think they should up it?
I like the Nat cards. I still think my favorite head-to-head reward was Madden 15, where you got the season vet badges, and after you got 10 or however many it was, you got a season vet card. Because when you see those cards, like when you see the Nat cards, you think, oh, this guy's got Jameis Winston. Oh, this guy's got Kevin Green. This guy's won all Madden Super Bowls. I'm in trouble. And it's not something – I really like rare cards. So those are some of the rarest cards there are because they're only available for a short time, and you have to win an all Madden Super Bowl, which, you know, depending on the people you get matched up against, can be insanely difficult.
Oh, yeah. Do you think the rewards – so when Jake Stein was on the podcast, he said he thought the rewards for head-to-head and solos were pretty similar for the amount of time you put into them on an hour-by-hour basis. What's your opinion on that, Worms?
I think the head-to-head rewards for the head-to-head games are better. What can I get out of a solo up until this week that would match a 96 or 97 overall card?
Well,
there's nothing really. The solos I played this year were to get cheap cap cards for salary cap, like the Ultimate Season's Dan Buchanan or the Jason McCourty and stuff like that. But before that, you know, unless you were going to grind Ultimate Master, there weren't really high-end cards that I can think of.
Didn't we get a Stafford that was 95 overall for solos?
Yeah, but I don't know how many people.
Tom Brady was a solo reward. Let's see what
recent players. That's more recently. So I think it's talking more like throughout the year, like the solo grinding is kind of more like a recent thing, getting like these higher overall cards. Whereas back then, you were grinding basically just to play.
You had the build a legend or build a card during Halloween. That was an amazing solo promo where you got one of the best cards. How about at the very start of the game when you had Ndamukong Suh and Adrian Peterson? I feel like a lot of the solo guys have a very short memory here with all the great things you've gotten this year versus head-to-head. You get a couple thousand coins for a head-to-head victory that takes you 40 minutes against, like Worm said, some amazing competition. Where solos, as also Worm said, you can use half a brain to do, and you get some pretty good rewards for similar time investment. But I don't know. What do you think of that, Texas?
That's true. I mean, at the beginning of the year, like I said, you got a bunch of cool stuff. I mean, Team of the Year, you had a free, an auctionable, and tradable one for both offense and defense, which could have been a 99 overall halfback or 99 overall. Was there a guy on defense 99 overall? Probably. I don't even remember. But it's some good stuff. But I guess as of lately, head-to-head rewards they got better. They started off terrible, and then they got better, especially since you could get like ultimate tickets and we call it developer ultimate tickets. What else was there? You had Jameis Winston earlier
for the head-to-head.
You had Kevin Green. Like it got better recently, so I guess for rewards
you couldn't get a dev. You couldn't get a dev ultimate ticket for head-to-head.
Well, I'm thinking of the Artie Burns.
Artie Burns.
Artie Burns.
Yeah, that was the only one I was thinking of right there. So it got better towards the end for head-to-head rewards. Hopefully, they transfer all that into Madden next year to where you get better things at the beginning, especially for being in all Madden first or second. Because I think this whole thing started with Emmitt Smith. That's when we started seeing great rewards for playing head-to-head. Was the
Emmitt before the Malloy?
Malloy was a playoff. Emmitt was
Emmitt was when they dropped the season structure. Because when we started the game, we didn't have head seasons.
Yeah, Super Bowls, none of that. So that was the first them dabbling into that, and then it's been on and off ever since. But as of probably the past 4 months, it's been consistent. Well, not consistent because it's still some weeks where they don't add a new person to play for, and some people got 7 of Marcellus Wiley's in their binders, but they're at least doing that to give you some players you can use on your team.
Yeah, Worms, what are your thoughts? Anything?
Are we talking about the solo versus head-to-head rewards still?
Yeah.
I mean, the solo rewards at the beginning of the year, it was budget cap cards, and then you could play 160 solos for a 90 overall Earl Thomas, and then you could play 1,000 solos for a 90 overall Devin McCourty. So I think at the beginning of the year, they were just not good unless it was something you really needed, like one of those cap cards.
Yeah, but you're just thinking of the worst solos. The better solos, like the Gauntlet, was out there. Joe, correct me if I'm wrong.
No, I mean they had the gauntlet. The gauntlet was great, and I know a lot of people hated when that went away.
What about
me being one of them?
Yeah, limited time solos.
Yeah, I mean there weren't a ton of those. It all depends. I mean, I think that the rewards for both have gotten better as the years gone on. You know, I mean, right now, obviously, the milestones that really only benefited you if you had a bunch in your binder. I mean, you'll still get probably 2 more before the end of the year if you did every milestone solo the rest of the year, and then the NAT for fan appreciation and all that. But the head-to-head, we started where you got one event badge for Ultimate or for MUT Master for winning, 10 games, in the event for head-to-head, where compared to, draft champions or salary cap, you would get 7 if you had 6 wins. So, Seasons has taken a big step forward where if you're winning, you're getting a ton of coins, a ton of event badges, and now the head-to-head players. So, I think it'd be cool to see more of those head-to-head players or options where you can pick different ones or anything like that. I think that would be a great step forward for head-to-head. But, you don't want to just be giving out rewards for people that aren't winning. I mean, the point of playing head-to-head is winning, and solos are supposed to be a way for people that aren't that great at the game to be able to get coins to get cards. So,
well, I'd like to see in the NAT rewards, like even in the year in review or in the head-to-head, you given the option like a draft champs round. So, like with the most feared, you get an option between Terrell Suggs, Travis Henry, or Marcus Peters, and whichever one you want is going to be your NAT, and then that would keep people from having 4 NAT quarterbacks.
Agreed.
Yeah,
I think Jay mentioned on the podcast. He said that they're gonna probably do something like that with a collectible though, where you can just pick who you want. So that way you're not having to not do any of that. They just give you a collectible and there's a set in the game that you can just put it in for the card that you want to get. Right. So that's probably gonna be back in Madden 18.
It was funny. He strongly hinted at it. He didn't say it.
Yeah.
He's like, wouldn't that be nice?
Yeah, that would be sweet.
Yeah, Texas, any other thoughts before we move on?
No, just hopefully it's a good balance next year because you don't want solo grinding to take a back seat to head-to-head rewards, even though you probably want guys more online with the teams they got constructed, but a lot of people just like playing solo challenges. So hopefully it's a happy balance next year in Madden 18.
Yeah, I agree. And I mean, like, solo grind should be long, I think, and even in my opinion. I did like a poll on this, and people said they'd prefer longer grind than a harder grind for solos. But
which I agree as well. With anything really, like I'd rather do something a lot that takes a while than something that's just like impossible. Because back in Madden 15, grinding for MUT Master sucked because it was just hard and long, not a good combination. Whereas the Madden 16 and 17, yes. What? Huh? Maybe.
It's not a good hard and long is not a good combination unless it's your girlfriend. Yeah. Anyway.
Unless it's for your girlfriend.
For your girlfriend. Yeah.
Yeah, because like my girlfriend's a guy.
I don't judge. You're in Colorado. I don't know, smoking weed and dating dudes. You're a new man now.
That's what we had to do. They smoke weed and have sex with dudes.
I'm not judging.
Yeah, you're sheltered, man. Girls are involved too.
Nice, big orgies, fun. But yeah, sorry to cut you off, man.
But no, just hopefully it's like Madden 16 and Madden 17 grinding for this like with anything where it's like long but not too difficult where I don't feel like playing the game.
Yeah, I get you. Yeah, it makes sense. It does seem like they've kind of figured out a lot of what people like about solos in the last couple of years, like you said. All right, moving on.
Even though this year we didn't give us as much as he wanted, which is kind of funny.
True. Moving on, and this is kind of what Worms kind of going to go to you for all of this, because you're kind of the competitive Madden OG, the expert. And the other 3 of us, we're kind of like MUT guys. We don't really play competitive. We don't go to tournaments, but we're really hardcore into MUT. Thresholds in Madden 18 and RNG is our next topic. So what I want to ask you, Worms, are you okay with what Rex said, that once you hit that threshold of catching at 90 and your wide receivers will no longer drop a pass?
A wide open, uncontested pass?
Yep.
I'm completely fine with that.
Okay. So what about get catching? Because we have the stats catch and traffic and spec catch for those two categories of a collision catch or a an animation catch. Why get a receiver with over 90 catching then? Why invest in a MUT card with over that number?
For competitive mode, I don't guess you would have to, unless there's going to be something that's using a formula of catch and traffic and catch whenever you're in a contested catch. But if it's just over 90 for an uncontested catch, so like a flat route where nobody's in the flat,
mm-hmm.
I mean, I think you should catch that 100% of the time in a competitive game.
Mm-hmm. But do you think this unbalances the game mode of MUT?
I don't at all. I've had a huge problem. I had a little bit of a problem last year with the game, and I've had a huge problem this year with the game with the way that I can make 3 bad reads in a game and 2 of them get intercepted, where my opponent will make 14 bad reads in a game and drop 7 of them and complete 6 of them, and then I intercept 1. And I think if they bring it back to, it sounds like to me it's going to be PS2 Madden is what competitive mode is going to be. Because a lot of the random stuff didn't happen, and if you matched up with someone, 90% of the time, the better player won the game. Unless you played an absolute perfect game and the other person made a mistake, where I can play a perfect game this year and my opponent can make 6 mistakes, and we're 28-28 with a minute to go in the fourth quarter.
Yeah. Outside of we'll get back. I don't think there is such a thing as playing a perfect game of Madden. You don't even see that. Well, there might be, but you don't see the top end guys doing that in the Madden Championship or anything like that. Everybody makes a mistake in almost every game. And I'm not saying 100%, but getting back to the point. So with competitive mode being in MUT head-to-head next year, Worms, and why would you start getting wide receivers after, say, December, just for the speed? Because their other stats aren't going to matter.
Well, I think at the end of the year we see this year I think we saw a big strength and run block boost to receivers at the end of the year, where earlier in the year you couldn't find anybody that could run block, and now it seems like almost everybody can run block.
So what I'm trying to say, and let me know if I'm getting this right, but if they're all going to be thresholds, and a lot of them are going to be thresholds, what's the point after a while? Won't that kind of just won't the cards after a while just be okay, well, it just got more speed. That's when you get that new one. But otherwise, the rest of the stats, it's kind of boring. I don't know. Does that make sense, Texas?
It makes sense, but I will also counter with what's the point of getting players right now? Because we don't know what the difference between 99 catching is and 90 catching in Madden. They don't do a good job of explaining the difference between a +9 boost after 90. So I don't think you really can test the speed. Everything else is kind of subjective to just randomness. So my counter to your question is, how can we not? It's the same thing they're doing right now, basically. They're just saying it outright right now. 90 catching, not going to drop anything. But what's the difference between 90 catching and 99?
Well, anecdotally, I do notice my ultimate ticket wide receivers catching the ball a lot better than the guys that had 90 catching in around Thanksgiving. Joe, what are your thoughts on that subject?
I think that doing thresholds I think it can work in certain areas, but what stats are going to have thresholds and what aren't, and are they going to tell us what the thresholds are? Because we know what route running is. We know route running, up to 95 has a certain way of doing a route, and we know at 96 and up it does it a different way, and we know that because we've tested it and we can see the different route animations on the screen. We don't know some of the other, we assume that they're all 90 or 96 or whatever. But we don't really have any confirmation of what's the difference between 90 trucking and 99 trucking or whatever, or 90 catch and traffic versus 99. My concern is, the point of MUT is to build your ultimate team, to make the cards have stats, and why like you were saying, why would you even invest in other cards and get upgrades if it just meets a threshold? I think there should be some stats that's fine, and maybe a wide open catch. Sure, I can get that, but they wouldn't do that with speed. You would never have speed be a something that there's a threshold for speed where 90 speed and 99 speed are the same. So why should, what ones are going to be thresholds and what ones aren't?
That's true. I would run down a list of the ratings and let me. Maybe should I run? Maybe I'll do that. We'll just do it quick. A lightning round. I'm going to say a rating. You tell me whether it should be a threshold rating or not. I'm going to leave off speed, strength, agility, acceleration. Everybody cool with that?
Strength don't matter, so you can leave that off if you want to.
Okay, that's fair.
Strength's my favorite rating.
Okay, we'll get outside of that argument. All right, awareness. Should it be a threshold stat, Texas?
No.
Joe?
What is awareness?
That's a good question.
Oh, man. This is going to be a lightning round.
What?
Awareness.
I don't know what it does. It touches all the stats, but what does that mean? How does awareness touch pass blocking, for instance? Like, is there a threshold for? I don't know. I mean, if they are going to define, that's one where I don't. That's a tricky question. Like, because we don't know what it means. So, like, we have no idea.
That's a valid point. All right. We'll skip awareness. Okay, so catching is going to be a threshold stat. I'll leave that one out. Jumping, threshold stat. We saw a little bit of that earlier in the year. Worms.
No.
Texas.
Catching?
No, jumping.
Jump. I was listening. Sorry. I was thinking about what awareness does. Jumping, no.
Joe.
No, I mean,
we
guys can jump taller than others.
Yeah, but we do know it is a threshold stat, though, based off that goal line dive from earlier in the year.
Correct.
You also know that jumping doesn't work when you play that elf solo challenge. You throw a high pass, and the elf comes up and swats the ball to your hand. So
that's a true point. Yeah. Yeah. Worms, anything you want to say?
Well, what are we setting thresholds on? Like we say the threshold for catching is 90 to not drop a wide open pass. What is the threshold? If the threshold for jumping is 90, what is that threshold tied to?
I think it's better, like as you saw, like I keep going back to the goal line one because it's the only one I know for jumping. It basically got you like that better leap for a running back.
The elite animation.
Elite animation. Yep, right. Worms.
So I think everything should be thresholded if you're going to tie animations to it. But I mean, it should be high, 96 or 97, to where you're like, what's the difference between 97, 98, 99? You know, nothing really. Unless you're going to get a special level at 99.
It's true. Do you think there should be a special level at 99?
I think so, yeah.
How about you, Texas?
You need a game breaker in this game 99. You're 99 trucking, and you see a game breaker animation. You just run through somebody untouched.
That'd be cool.
Because like right now, I don't know different. Cause I got 99 trucking back in November.
Oh, with
I
Robert
boosted
Kelly?
a guy, not Robert Kelly and Jordan Howard. I couldn't truck anybody. I couldn't see like a visual difference between him boosting and him not Kim boosting. But that's probably a different discussion another time about chemistry actually working in game. But I just couldn't see the difference between that. And then you got Marshawn Lynch, 98 trucking, and I couldn't do anything with him. But then you get a guy like Jordan Howard, he just plays the new one that came out, just plays amazing. So I would like to see them do something like that with making a difference between it showing in game. So maybe make something out of control with it.
Yeah. How about you, Joe? Sound like it's in
I mean, at least with some of those things, like I think the traits also have something to do with that. Like, do they have the fight for extra yard trait or not? And why do we not know what some of the traits do? And why are some of them like, why does Favre have the worst traits I've ever seen? But yet he's like one of the, main legends in this game.
It's a good point.
Like,
that was a big
can't they
oversight,
change
yeah.
Yeah. So I think that some of the stats tie to traits, and yet the traits don't match them.
It's a fair point. Like, I think, what was it, Madden 16? They didn't realize traits mattered.
Yep.
Yeah. I don't know when they did that stream or whatever. Anyway, so yeah, okay. So I guess that's a little bit of promo. Okay, or a little bit of a problem here with defining what the levels are, like Worm said. But like, do you guys believe trucking should? I mean, maybe we don't need to go through all of them, but obviously things like throw power shouldn't be. What about carrying? Should that be a threshold stat, Texas?
Like universally or just for running backs?
Yeah.
No.
Okay. Worms?
No, I think if you've got 95 carrying, you should have a 1 in 20 chance of fumbling. And then, when it goes up, your chance of fumbling goes down.
Oh, okay. What about facing different hit like, because a lot of fumbling has to do with the angle that you're hit at and the guy hitting you. So it's hard to make it a threshold at that point, right?
Well, I think it would just come down to two numbers, and then you put the numbers up against each other with some kind of modifier of, I would guess, leaning towards the ball carrier, but that's for smarter people than me to figure out.
Yeah, I would assume they have something like that, some sort of calculation that it does that. It's kind of out of whack for 17, in my opinion, but
That's kind of cool. Like in Pokemon, like a Pokemon battle where it's like this guy has this much HP versus this guy's HP, then all of a sudden the guy with the lower HP is the one that causes the fumble randomly.
Yeah,
kind of cool.
Well,
that's what
you'd have to figure. You'd have to figure stamina into it, and then who knows what other. The stamina should be tied to that too.
It's stamina. You're right.
Stop it, Joe. Boo.
Boo.
But yeah, Worms. So at like 99 carrying, do you think there should be a threshold that says you'll no longer fumble?
I think you should still be able to fumble, but I think it should be a very, very low chance.
Yeah. And that kind of goes back to the RNG as we swing it back to that part with competitive Madden. What you want no RNG in the game of Madden, but how much RNG is just programmed into the game of football, Worms?
I don't want no RNG, but I don't want the RNG that we have now because it lets people just lob the ball up over and over and over and eventually get an animation that lets them catch.
Well, isn't that what swerving is?
No, swerving's 100% user skill.
Oh. It is.
Which is why some people can do it, and then some people complain that they can't do it or stop it.
Yeah, but it's also kind of, I can see what you're saying with it's a user skill, but it's kind of taking advantage of the game mechanics there.
It's 100% taking advantage of game mechanics, but you have that in every version of Madden. Like, There's not a year, you could name any year of Madden, and I could tell you, well, here's what the problem with that year was, and then it was resolved the next year.
That's true. So, with swerving, I mean, how much, in your opinion, should Madden look like the game of football, NFL on the field?
I think somewhat closely, but I think it's always going to be a video game, and there's always going to be parts of it that can be taken advantage of, and in competitive games, people are going to take advantage of it unless you start making rules, which they've done before at Madden Challenges. There were no blocked field goals because Problem found a way to slide a guy out in field goal block and then move a guy over 2 clicks, and you blocked it every time. So then EA said, well, you can't block field goals. And so if they'd make a rule that says you can't swerve, you will play by that rule. But if there's not a rule that's policing it, then people are going to do it.
Man, it makes a lot of sense. Texas, what do you think about that? How much should Madden look like the game of football on the field, and how much should the developers try and go for that?
I think it's kind of weird because I want it to look like it, but I also don't want the same rules. Like, so when they said fumbles were like 2 per game or whatever, so that everybody fumbles the ball randomly at the beginning, and then they got drop passes, drop catches, or drop interceptions because they were trying to reflect the real world. I kind of want it to look like football, but I wanted to play like a video game. If I'm there for the play, if I make a correct user adjustment, I probably should be rewarded more so than it not going my way because it's not meant to happen at that time. So I wanted to look like it, but also I wanted to play like a video game and reward the best player, not the person who's luckiest. Okay,
so you're more in the competitive settings side of it. Joe?
I kind of stand in between the two. I mean, I think that from what I know from competitive and what I know from sim, I think that MUT should be a combination of the two, reflecting stats. And I think competitive should be they should just use salary cap. Everybody kind of agrees that salary cap is the best way of doing competitive Madden. I mean, that's what they did the championship on. I know they did it on DC, but I don't think a lot of people really like doing it on DC compared to a salary cap because you get to pick your team, pick your playbooks, and all that. I think that they should tailor a mode to salary cap just for the competitive players, and not put the mode, something that the casual person, because casual people play MUT head to head. They maybe play a couple games a week, but they may not want to have the same type of slider adjustments that the competitive players that are playing for money do.
Yeah, that's a fair point. It's kind of weird that they said there's going to be 3 modes in 18, and then we saw on Twitter a couple weeks back where they were talking about previous play being on or off, and RG chimed up and said previous play is off for salary cap but on for head-to-head, which makes it seem like they're a different mode then too again. So is there a 4th mode for MUT head-to-head? Because the way they're able to split that between the two, it feels like they can just split more then, right? Or why? I don't know. Joe?
I think that MUT head-to-head should, I don't think that the what everybody's going to be doing for salary cap, whatever they want to, if the competitive players don't want previous play on, then just take it off for them. Or if they don't want, certain things, no drop picks or whatever, like those should be things that the competitive community should preach to the players that are playing salary cap for the tournaments. And there's not really any casual people that go and like, I'm going to play a game of salary cap. No, you do that for competitive purposes. Mm-hmm. You've already got a MUT team. So,
yeah. Hey, Worms, how much is the competitive community on the same page for the settings they like?
I'd say probably 95%.
So is everybody just basically listen to what Problem Right says and then follows it?
I think mostly that is what goes on.
Okay. So what improvements do you think could happen to the competitive settings or scene next year? In your opinion, what anything that you've seen that you haven't seen that you'd like to see?
I think the main 2 things that I'm looking forward to are the ball hawk being toned down to where you have to actually have, good user control. And then I'm kind of leaning towards having last play off, because that's one of those things that you used to see when we'd go to tournaments. Sandman was running shotgun tied. Nobody knew what he was running because they couldn't see it. Where now someone ran nickel blitz 2, and then everyone saw it and said, well, I'm going to run that too.
So you think it'll help stop some of the play spam we'll see in the community?
Well, I'm sure they'll leave it on in head-to-head mode, regular.
Yeah.
But I think that that's more casual leaning than salary cap, like you guys were saying, where, random people aren't building a salary cap team to go play salary cap games.
So it was Madden 16. I'm just remembering this right now, Worms. And you saw during a qualifier for it in salary cap a DT A gap blitz, and you said it's the best blitz you've seen in a Madden in years, and that ended up being the DT blitz that ended Problem that Stiff ran against them. You had it 3 or 4 months ahead. Like you said, your roommate ran against it because a random guy used it in a salary cap game or something to qualify. So
right.
And he was able to recognize it and then replicated it, and you had it in like your back pocket. So it's kind of, there's still some things that are hidden, but like I see what you're saying with previous play being off in salary cap. Then you feel more, I don't know, what's the word I'm looking for, at liberty to run your exotic blitzes that you're not saving for your back pocket in order to win those tournament games.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then you can run, if you have a route combination or like the chair route, if there was no last play, 2/3 of the Madden community wouldn't know that the chair route beats cover 1 coverage defense.
Well, that's not true. Zan put that out in like September.
Well, if he didn't put it out, people wouldn't know.
I wouldn't have known it if it weren't for Zan, like back then. I wouldn't
have
known.
That wheel route?
What's that?
You call it the wheel route?
No, the chair route.
I don't know what the fuck that is.
It's a streak and then like an out and then an up.
Oh, the sluggo.
No,
it's not. It's like a sluggo, but it's more pronounced.
But it's just vertical.
Yeah, I got you. I see it in my head right now.
Yeah.
And the reason you guys may not know it is because you don't run cover 1 defense all game long, and then get matched up against people that counter with that.
Yeah, well, I know I've been running cover 0 for quite some time because it's Embry's main defense, and then I'm like, hey, if Embry's doing it, it must be good. So, moving on, so I can see what you're saying with that, but anything else that you think the competitive community needs that maybe they're not talking about? Worms?
There's nothing I can think of. I think just those 2 changes are going to put it back to PS2, which is what I've always said was the golden era of competitive Madden was during the PS2 console days.
What years was that?
2003 to 2008.
Well, to be fair, those were just the best Maddens overall because of the leaps forward they took in their game with the scrambling and the defensive stuff. And 04 and 05.
I think competitively too, though. I think those were the best games because you couldn't have, some random player come along and stay with you for 4 quarters and then get a fumble recovery at the end of the game to win it.
All right, fair enough. Texas, I want to hear what you have to say about this. Give me something. What? Oh, what's up?
Sorry,
I was gonna ask a question. Sorry, I made you. I went a little quick on the trigger there. So, give me something that you think the competitive community needs that maybe they don't even know yet.
I'm still on this whole rules thing, man. Just add rules. If EA wants the game, you play it a certain way. Just like Worm said, just add some rules to the game to make sure that they play this the way they want them to play it.
Like the field goal block stuff. Is that what you mean?
Like field goal block, just you can't do this, can't do that. Like it just so that way it'd be more fun to watch than just watching a bunch of people break the game.
Yeah.
Like just more beautiful sportsmanship instead of watching people out here. I still say I was watching freaking these guys play Injustice, man, and it looked beautiful because nobody's out here cheesing. You go watch them, everybody doing the same exact shit. It's just not fun to watch. So maybe add rules and make sure to make the game fun to watch and not just, DT coming through the A gap here for a quarterback sack or this bullshit dual edge heat, which is not really cheesy as much as it was like Madden 16 blitzes were, but it's still not fun to watch that be called the entire game and then the same offensive plays over and over and over. I know there's some offensive plays that work better than other plays, but it's just not fun to watch. So maybe if they have some rules, it might be more fun to watch in the future.
I gotcha.
At least for me, as a guy that likes playing the game but not watching it.
Yeah, so you think they should make a better game for the viewer? Like I said EA, how before this last championship, like Problem didn't stream for a couple months. Like none of the competitive players were streaming because they didn't want to give away their schemes or whatever. I think what I think the competitive community needs is EA telling them they have to stream ahead of the tournaments in order to build hype. I think there has to be something in their contracts that says like I don't know if they can do it and they probably can't, but in order to build a community of competitive players, you need and watchers of competitive Madden, you need those people on Twitch showing that off daily or whatever. Like somehow put in the contract, you have to stream, I don't know, 10 hours a week or something. Before if you qualify for this tournament, you have to stream 10 hours a week before it. Maybe guys would rebel against it. Maybe it's a terrible idea to piss people off, but there has to be something that it gets better promotion ahead of time on Twitch. Joe, I want to ask you that same question. What does a competitive community need that maybe they don't realize yet?
I think, I guess more. There was a lot of weirdness with the communication between, some of the rules that were put in place, like the Xbox blocking feature and all that kind of stuff. It was like there was voices on Twitter, and then all of a sudden they were making changes for everybody on the game, just based on that. It seems kind of chaotic the way that things were put together for the competitive community. And I think putting them in one mode, getting the rules that they want, having the top guys that made the Madden Championship, sitting them all down together and, coming up with the, whatever adjustments that they want to do and doing it that way. I think that would be a big step forward.
I got you. All right. Moving on from competitive, unless Worms, you got anything else on competitive you want to talk about, or RNG?
The only other thing I think that the competitive community needs that they don't realize is we need player lock back.
Just because it was a big portion of your offense.
We need it back. We need it back bad.
Why is that?
So that way we can run it against DB Strike 2.
Nice. Wait, why is it effective against DB Strike 2?
Because it's cover 2. It's a one-play touchdown against cover 2.
Are you just talking about your one glitch where you go into a smoke route and then you screw up the cornerback?
I wouldn't really call it a glitch. Again, it's user skill. It's user skill.
But you had to call a smoke route in order for it to work.
But whenever you do it, you just yell out fast, slow feet don't eat, and then run your route.
Classic. The Chad Johnson style. All right. Yeah, sure. Let's bring back player lock. That's funny. So, hey, long shot in 18. Apparently a significant amount of resources went into it from Madden. And we talked about this Texas long shot and how much is taken away. I want to hear it. I want to hear what the casual or kind of serious MUT community from Joe and then the serious competitor has to think about long shot. Texas, we'll get your opinion too, because you're kind of everything to me. So, Worms, long shot. Are you going to play it next year?
If there's a reward that I can use in salary cap, I'll play it.
So they are having.
If there isn't, If there isn't, I might still play it because people have been saying think Telltale when you think about it, and the Telltale games are some of the best games I've ever played. So I may still check it out. I don't know how excited I would be about a story mode about a fictitious football player, but if it gets me a nice card to use in salary cap, I'll definitely play it.
Oh, cool.
Bro, yeah, out here bootlegging Telltale game. Why don't you just get to Telltale guys and make the game for them?
I haven't heard. I don't know. I didn't know what it was. I just heard think Telltale.
Because Telltale games are freaking amazing. I doubt this is that. Like, they can't hype it that much. I doubt it's that. It's gonna be good, probably. It can't be Telltale.
They said those exact words.
No, because Telltale's Walking Dead's amazing. Telltale's Guardians of the Galaxy is amazing. Telltale's Arkham series is amazing. It can't be Telltale. It can't be.
Walking Dead's probably one of the best games I've ever played.
Dude, it cannot be. They bootlegged it, bro. If it is, they bootlegged it without paying the people, which is kind of shady. But also EA.
They bought out the monopoly from under them. They bought out the red. Yeah. So, Texas, let's hear. What are your opinions?
Well, I'm going to play it, obviously, because I have a YouTube channel.
Fair enough.
And I don't think people will be mad about it if it's good. But I think after they play it for the first time, like, all right, I'm done. This is like, what's the point? After playing it for 6 hours, you said? I think that's when they'll get annoyed. Like, you really spent 4 years making this for 6 hours?
Yeah.
I think that's when they'll probably be like, this was a waste of time. Because it's cool to get more people into the game with a story mode, but like again, I'm keep mentioning this. It's not a story career mode where you can use your own player, which is what we asked for. They gave us something we didn't ask for. Obviously, it's going to continue in Madden 19, in Madden 20 with new shit, but this is people after the probably first initial excitement of playing it twice is going to be like, no, this was a waste of time.
Joe?
I kind of agree with everybody. I think that the people that are playing the game now, most of the people are probably going to check it out. I mean, I'm interested, I guess, but I'm kind of frustrated with the apparent total of resources that have been put toward it. Could that have, if they've spent 4 years on that, I mean, is that a completely different development team, or could that have been introducing MUT squads this year in Madden 17? Rather than or part of the content team that apparently just left and went to work on 18. Have they been, is that because of other resources that have been put toward long shot? I mean, that's what frustrates me.
Yeah.
And it seems like, they up until they've given us really good solo rewards for the last couple of weeks, it seems, Madden 18 or Madden 17 was kind of abandoned, or at least in my opinion, and it seems like they put a lot of effort into something that's going to bring casual people to it, which is cool. I mean, maybe they know analytics of, if they put this type of mode, maybe they're going to see a 20% increase in sales of people buying the game, and then of that, maybe 5% of them will check out MUT or whatever. I don't know, but I mean, as someone who's going to buy the game anyway and play it, I'm going to check out Long Shot, but I'm kind of frustrated with the amount of effort and resources that were put toward it.
Oh yeah, yeah, and the NBA Live that they kind of. I mean, this is all MUT money and well, FIFA money too for NBA Live. But so every single developer working on Longshot is obviously a feature taken away from MUT or Squads or what else have we wanted?
Franchise
franchise apparently. From what the interviews I'm seeing with Clint, they've added like one new thing, which is like you could pick up your franchise at any point during the season. So like say it's week 5 and you want to start with your franchise week 5 with the Ravens, so you can start with the new rosters, whatever. You can import straight into week 5 of your franchise. That's the new thing. But the connected franchise mode, apparently there's nothing or very little upgraded from 17. Texas?
That's a really cool feature, though. I mean, like, it's going to allow YouTubers to do more creative things, like mid-season team builds. It's going to be popping all over YouTube. You can bet your bottom dollar on that, where you can pick up, get real-time accurate stat tracking. That's a cool feature. I mean, it could be more, though, if they probably going to spend 4 years developing something that's going to take 6 hours to beat. But, hey, well, guess we'll get more of that shit in Madden 20, or Madden 19, actually.
Yeah. Let's move on from Longshot, unless anybody else has anything to say. Okay. So, 4th of July promo, and we'll talk about that a little bit, and any other content coming up for the rest of 17, kind of getting into that a little bit. What do we expect for this promo? Are we going to get Memorial Day, or is it going to be our last big hurrah of 17? Joe?
I would hope that they do 2 more promos. I mean, maybe this seems kind of... I would hope that they do a 4th of July promo, and I hope they do something with, like dynamic players. And maybe they had to wait till July before they could do that because they got burned with that last year, obviously. Well, they really just burned us if you did the rookie premiere sets.
True. Yeah.
So maybe they had to wait till July to be in the same quarter or whatever when Madden launches, or so I don't know. But maybe they couldn't make promises for loyalty. Maybe that's why we don't know any of the loyalty information for 18, even though we're doing the loyalty objectives every week. So I would hope that there's a something that you can do things in 17 that'll transfer to 18. Whether doing certain player sets that will transfer over with clear indication of what those things will happen, so that you're not, holding a 80 Jalen Ramsey in my binder for all year.
and hopefully the upgrades, will be more dynamic. Go on.
Right.
Yeah. Worms?
I think 4th of July will probably be a big blowout promo. I was looking at the list from last year, and I think there were about 1596 or higher cards released.
Wow.
So I would expect we get probably the same thing with a similar solo structure to Spotlight, possibly.
Yeah, I could see that. I think we're going to get some crazy new solos. I would agree with that. Anything else you're excited for? Any other? Do you think we'll get that rookie premiere again? Similar style?
I don't think we'll get that. I think we'll get something. But I mean, really, I think with the milestone set, I think that's pretty much all the incentive anybody needs to keep playing. So I don't know how much loyalty stuff they're going to offer this year.
True. Texas?
I'm not too sure. I want to say we might get Memorial Day just based off of what they said around Memorial Day. Go out, spend time with your family. And it's kind of the same thing with 4th of July. Yeah. But I don't know, man, because I would like them to do something loyalty for Madden, but just giving us promos to make this game go on is cool, but at least give me that card over in Madden next year. So hopefully, if we do get 4th of July, we get that card or the set master in Madden next year. So if it's not that, I don't give a damn about it. I'm basically kind of done playing this game. I've been doing IRL shit, man. Going rafting, going to Renaissance festivals and shit.
So you took their advice and you're spending time outside.
Yeah, they told me to go outside. I went outside. I'm staying out there too to get me back in this game.
Oh no, we might have lost Texas to the outdoors.
Oh no,
Colorado boy is going to become a mountain man.
Bro, I came out here and never did anything. Now I'm doing the much shit I never thought I'd be doing. This is wild.
It's changing you, man. Weird.
Yeah.
You're gonna start a primitive builds YouTube channel, right? What's that guy?
Yo, I am getting the carpentry, bro. I went to Home Depot the other day trying to figure out how to make a backdrop for my room.
Yeah.
Like some wood, bro.
Yeah.
I'm pricing stuff out. Yeah, I might do a Texas Boy Builds channel. Who knows?
That's not a bad idea. Everybody's looking for that kind of stuff all the time.
But watch it.
Oh, what's up?
You said
I watch it.
Oh, you watching it?
I'll watch it.
Cool. Got my first sub right there.
There it is. Unless I can beat him to it. So, I agree with Worms. I hope we get something crazy and not just the MUT developers calling us nerds and telling us to leave our consoles. But I don't know if they'll combine the two, but I do think we'll probably get them both, like Joe says, and maybe they'll continue to support it. We'll see. So I want to hear what you guys think MUT 18 will be like. So like we've seen a bunch of experiments so far, and what do you think from 17 sticks into 18, Texas?
From 17 that sticks into 18, obviously chemistry, but probably more comprehensive. With the maybe you can compare cards you already have to stuff on the auction house. That's one thing I don't know why they didn't let you do this year. It's probably going to be the exact same game, to be honest. Actually, no, it's going to be the same exact game. So it's just going to be probably just more polished, and that's all I got because I don't want to speculate about anything without knowing because they could change it up completely. I don't want to sound like a fool in the future, but I honestly think it's going to be the same exact game, just with a little bit more bells and whistles.
So you don't have like a crystal ball you can look into and tell us?
No, well, I can speculate, but I just don't know because these dudes are creative when they want to be. So, like the chemistry this year, like nobody thought chemistry would be as good as it was this year, going based off the past 2 years of it, where nobody cared for it, and all of a sudden it's like the best thing in the game. So I don't know, but I just know that it'll be a little bit better.
Fair enough.
Probably slightly worse in some aspects, but a little bit better.
Yeah. Worms, how about you? What do you think MUT 18 is going to be like?
I think it's going to be pretty much the same game, kind of like the end of PS2, where it was mostly the same game with them just removing exploitable things like swerve. And then I think a lot of the stuff we've seen, like the weekly objectives, we'll probably get those right out of the gate, I would expect. But I don't think gameplay will change that much outside of swerve will be gone. Nickel Blitz 2 will not work the same way as it does.
Okay.
But for the most part, I think, it won't be that big of a difference other than visual aspect of the game and then the competitive changes.
So what do you think, Worms, this is kind of a little different than what we talk about. What do you think the defense is going to be right out of the bat next year? Like I speculated on Twitter and I said it on the podcast, I think some sort of like 3-4 bear where it's going to be hard to ID who the blitzer is going to be the move to at least try out right away. But what do you think?
I think I actually saw or heard that from you, and I think it'll probably be a lot of big dime cover one with cloud flats. But I definitely think 4-6 bear, 3-4 bear. If you don't even have to have a blitz. You just have to make it look like a blitz to the right, and then now you're getting a free guy up the left.
Oh, that's a good
point.
I
think a lot of those weird formations like that are definitely going to be good plays.
The developers, the only reason I didn't think dime or big dime or any of that or dollar is going to be very good next year is because the developers said there's a penalty now if they come out with a heavier set to having one of those guys on the field.
Well, I think it'll be a personnel matching cover one with 2 cloud flats will probably be what you see right out of the gate.
Because they did say they're tuning man coverage to be better, which I hate. I think man coverage when really good is, and I've said this, is really bad for the game. Because then it's all you can do is run drags and maybe those chair routes. Chair
But that's only if you have the appropriate coverage stat rating.
Ideally.
It's like, so speed should beat man unless it's like 99 man, then the guy should know what's going to happen. But we just got to figure out how the stuff will work in practice. Because they can say all the stuff in theory, and then it might just be bullshit where you can't even beat a man coach with an out route. Or the guy 99 route running because he just has 80 man, but like how this game does shit like that sometimes.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Or you can do shit and be over there, but he's still over there for some reason. So it's kind of their job's hard, man. They got to find a balance and all that stuff. I don't envy them at all.
Well, here's the thing. I think it's really hard. I'm not going to get away from that. But I think they have the tools to figure out what's overpowered and what's imbalanced. Like, how in those play call screens, you can see how many yards on average this is getting per play, like on the community screens. At the beginning of the year when I was looking at stretch, average 9 yards to play. It was insane. Like, average stretch play, it should not be going for 9 yards. It should be going for 4 to 5. So they have the tools to realize what's imbalanced. And if they could see that 30% of the community is calling this play, hey, maybe we should look at that play. Worms, what's your thought on Madden balance?
I agree with that, and it's like the fullback dive this year. Like, I'm sure that within a week of that becoming popular, someone on the development team saw that, but we still had to play with it for, however long.
Yeah.
Like, as soon as something like that comes up, or even like the swerve, I think they said they spent a lot of time trying to resolve it and they couldn't find a fix to it, but they found a fix to the fullback dive jump. But I mean, it was, weeks after it had come out, and it had a big effect on the qualify tournaments.
Mm-hmm. Joe, what about you?
So I think,
sorry. Go on, Worms.
I think they need to have a team of people that are looking at that stuff, and within a week, they should have a patch for any of that stuff that is game exploiting.
Actually, let me. I want to ask you about that. How often do you think they should have patches, Worms?
I think during competitive season, it should be once every 2 weeks, maybe even more often than that. If there's a big issue that that needs to be addressed.
Yeah. See, I agree with that. I think this game should be patched more often, kind of like some of the bigger games are. But a lot of the competitive communities, like I saw, what was it? Mr. Smith has been on, or was it Madden Freestyle? Been on a rant about how they patched the game too much. You don't think that's the case, Worms?
I don't think so. And before I get into that, I'll just say, in case you guys don't know, Mr. Smith invented the goal line offense. If you haven't heard him say that 10,000 times in the last week.
Yeah.
I think if the game's good, there doesn't have to be a patch. But I think if something like fullback dive is a problem, or if they feel like player lock is a problem, because the player lock fix, after that kind of got out, that was fixed within 3 days. Wow. It was just happened to be something somebody was complaining about with a patch coming that week, and it was added to that patch. So I would be happy with a Sunday patch, every Sunday, or if they want to do it every Monday, and if there's not anything that needs to be patched, there's a small patch this week that, goes over visual stuff and not gameplay related. But I think a lot of people don't like Smith, I know, doesn't like the patch frequency, because if you're trying to sell ebooks and you're showing a 3-4 bear blitz that gets patched next week, now all of a sudden your ebook isn't, worth spending $15 on. So that's why, someone like that wouldn't want to see a quick patch cycle.
That's a very good point, because they have a financial interest in them not patching it. So, Joe, let's hear your opinion on that, on patches.
I mean, I kind of agree that more frequent patching will help. I mean, normally they, at least with the ebook people that you can see on Twitter, the patch comes out and then it takes them a week or 2 weeks, for it to fully get their scheme of what they want to do for putting out their ebook or whatever. Maybe it doesn't take that long to come up with a concept, but they normally take a week or two to come out with a new, this new, blitz or this new, whatever concept. But keeping it changing all the time is going to kind of change what the good plays are, possibly every week or every other week or whenever it is. And to kind of make people not just rely on doing the same thing over and over and over again, to try new things. So I think that's all good, because no one wants to run the same blitz unless it works every time.
Mm-hmm. Agreed.
So
yeah, Texas?
With patches, it's kind of weird, because I think we need them, but I don't want as much as we had this year and Madden next year.
Oh, I see.
Because they can do hot fixes. And so, but I don't know, because when it seems like already patched the game, it just changed, like he said earlier, it just changes the play style, and you got to do something different to do that. And the game, for me at least, wasn't the same after they dropped that patch after Super Bowl. The game just was, I didn't have much fun playing it before then.
Yeah, but
after then. So,
but Texas, the biggest complaint about Madden is how stale it gets. Do you want to be using the same plays from August until July?
I don't, but also I've been using the same playbook for 2 years. So,
and is that a good thing? Just not learning? That doesn't sound very fun.
That's not learn. That's a win. I win at a good 80% clip when I'm playing online. So I can probably learn the stuff that y'all run, but I don't have fun running what y'all run. I like doing the stuff that I have fun running with, and I'll do the stuff I have fun the entire time.
Well, Texas, what we're talking about is like the exploitable stuff. Your offense is probably just based on
the exploitable stuff,
like the flood concepts, and your offense is based on like football stuff, right? Like you don't run that glitchy edge pressure
stuff. Yeah, so it's basically my patches for the other guys.
Essentially,
but I guess, but when they patch for them, it still affects the people that aren't doing that. Because then we got to go against something that we've been doing for a while, which we may not be cheesy. It's completely changed. Like running the ball has not been the same for me since after the Super Bowl. I cannot run the ball consistently as much as I could before. So I like patches. I like when they fix major issues, but I kind of wish they would tone them down as not do as frequently.
Well, is that
game breaking?
Is that gameplay, or is that just that everybody has 97 and 98 overall linebackers?
Well, it might be that as well, but I still have a pretty decent team, and maybe a lot of these guys I'm playing. But even with against good teams, I was still getting breaking off 80-yard runs, and then now that's no longer happening.
Well,
it could be a combination of both.
People have also learned. I've noticed whenever I try to come out in power O near the goal line, people learn like I no longer enable to run power O because people know they have a defense for it now. So the fact that if your offense was based around a few very good runs, people have learned kind of how to stop the run this year.
The funny thing about it was like, I don't run cheesy runs. I don't run stretch. I didn't run stretch when the game first came out. I don't run power O. My run plays are pretty much either wildcat or they are just halfback inside out of the I formation, or like it's mostly stuff like that were consistently getting me 20, 30, 40 yards because of the blocking guys I had out there. And then after, like I said, Super Bowl time, I'm like, yo, this shit doesn't work anymore.
Yeah, there's probably a variety of factors. Go on.
I think part of that also could be that we really haven't gotten really good offensive linemen released this year.
Yeah.
And most of the wide receivers are pretty bad at run block. I mean, we don't have the really great, last year's run blocking wide receivers. And there's a lot better block. I mean, you could get 99 block shed defensive tackles in November. There's only a handful of 99 run block, even with stat boost now.
Yeah, and about you can get Night Train Lane who's got 90 block shed. So it's corner.
I'm gonna go back and look at these plays though. I stream mostly all this. I can see the people I'm going against, and then see the different change between one week from the next, where it was working and it wasn't. So
okay,
I it might be the players, it might be the patch, it might be me just not hitting the hole where I need to, but I feel like it's something to do with them maybe fixing something and breaking something else that I enjoy. Because the patches end up doing that stuff. They'll patch the run pass glitch, and then something else in the game breaks.
I gotcha. Hey, so 200 game win streaks. We saw a post and people getting them on the MUT sub, and you see some of the leaderboards. Now, how much do you guys believe in a 200 game win streak out of somebody that's not like problem right? Worms.
0%.
I mean,
maybe in 3 years ago, 4 years ago, but this game, there's absolutely no way that anyone can have that big of a win streak.
What do you think, Joe?
I think.
Oh, sorry. Go on.
No, go ahead.
I think Problem went 150 last year, and I think last year it was there was more of a skill gap, but I think the skill gap has gotten close enough this year that you can see any top-end player lose to a casual. And even when I've went on 50 and 60 game win streaks, it seems like you're fighting against any kind. You basically have to have 200 games of no bad luck or luck better than your opponent. And I think it's impossible to do without dashboarding.
Joe?
Yeah, I any game that I normally play is competitive. I don't get the easy win, so I don't see how you can win unless you're one of the very, very best to get a 100 game win streak in this year's game. I don't see it, but
yeah. What do you think, Texas?
Yes, I don't want to say it's not possible because some people are out there are that good. Maybe just some matchups, or maybe they're just doing something the opponent can't stop. But it's kind of unlikely to happen just based off how this game goes. We all have lost games to guys that are worse than us. We all lost that game where we've thrown 2 picks on 2 throws, and he's thrown 18 passes all to your defensive back, and nobody catches it. So we all have bullshit losses. So 200 straight wins it's like a 1% chance of that happening, and everything else is probably just these dudes out here dashboarding and maybe IP booting dudes out of the game.
Yeah, it's also kind of unbelievable to me, the 200-game win streak. I noticed there's some guys, and you look at the top of the scoreboard and the record boards, there are some amazing records up there, though, that are 98% win percentage, and they've played 700 games or more. So I could see it if you're one of those people, but I don't know. When people say, Worms say, there's no skill gap, I look at records like that, and I look at Problem making to the finals in almost every single tournament. I'm like, there is a skill gap in this game, and the better player is going to win 95% of the game, if not more, which is a lot better than many other games of this category, or of competitive games. So, but a 200-game win streak, that's tough. But crazy things have happened, right? Anyways, Jared Goff got a 99 overall card today. Now, how much do you think this time of year in MUT that stats from the previous season should matter for 99 overall cards? Joe?
I mean, I think a lot of it is just trying to get new cards, new upgrades, and but I saw somebody post on the sub. It was there's 15 quarterbacks that have a higher overall than MVP Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah.
I mean, I think, and obviously you don't want just a month later after Rodgers gets a 97 card to get a 99 card. I mean, you're going to have periods of time when you have that kind of thing, but the Spotlight program is a very cool idea. I like it, but I wish that it incorporated more players other than just the ones that may have upside this year, because I feel like there's a lot of cards that either got bypassed and haven't gotten upgrades, or they did get upgrades but they were bad, like this, and Le'Veon Bell and Antonio Brown, or they were really hard to get. And Jared Goff getting a 99 is kind of whatever. I mean, there's so many 99 quarterbacks anyway, so I don't really care about it. But it's just kind of funny that you've got probably the best quarterback or one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL, and it's got a 97 compared to Jared Goff, who hasn't done anything in the NFL, and he has a 99.
Yeah, he threw more interceptions than touchdowns. Texas, what do you think about that? How much do NFL stats matter for a 99 overall card this time of year?
It should matter, but I understand the whole, like you said, the point of the program. I didn't know Spotlight was just players who might have a good season next year. There's a ton of other quarterbacks they could have chosen other than Jared Goff. Jared Goff probably won't be in the league in 2 years.
What?
There's people, not people, there's a guy I follow on Twitter named CN Fahey. He thinks Jared Goff is horrible. And this guy is a quarterback expert. He says he sees no potential. Rams shouldn't have drafted number 1 overall, and he shits on every single chance he gets. But, he's not, I don't think he's going to be in the league for a while. So a guy that's going to be in the league for a while is Tyrod Taylor. How come he didn't get a card? There's a few other players they could have chosen other than Jared Goff that would have excited the community. But they gave us a trash card because they like doing that shit where they give us a card that nobody was clamoring for just to get I think they're trolling us on purpose. They're doing this to get a rise out of people because it gets people talking about Madden. Jared Goff gets people angry, which then gets their Twitter numbers up for the amount of people talking about Madden.
It's not a bad point. Worms, what do you think?
I think it shouldn't have any effect on it. I think probably somebody at EA is a Jared Goff fan because I know if I worked at EA and they were like, all right, we need ideas for new cards, I would throw out my favorite players all the time. And so I'd be like, we need a new Danny Amendola. We need a new, Marcel Darius. We need a new card of all the guys I want on my team. And so, maybe nobody likes Tyrod Taylor at EA. And it's going to be forever for him to get an upgrade. But even looking at this Goff, if you do a Mudhead comparison, he's worse than Rodgers in a lot of categories.
Hashtag overalls don't matter.
If you kim them both up. Yeah, overalls, and especially at this point of the year, I don't think they matter really, too much, because my gold Danny Amendola still makes catches when he's getting hit sticked by Eastern Night Train Lane. So
it's a fair point.
I don't think it has any bearing on it. It's just cards that people, new cards that people might want to use. I'm sure there are some Ram fans that are completely ecstatic over getting a new golf card.
If you're a Rams fan, I'm sad for you. You're a trash quarterback.
Yeah, I mean, what do you think about, like, talking about Rams fans? Like, is it okay to be a Rams fan still?
No.
I know Worms has a specific association with this, being from St. Louis. What are your thoughts?
I don't think so. I haven't followed him at all.
That's that a boy. What about like
since the early 2000s?
Oh, so for a long time. I gotcha. You only follow winners.
Well, I've been a Detroit Lions fan my whole life, so I wouldn't say that's 100% accurate.
True. All right, so you guys are moderators of the MUT subreddit. Now, Texas, I don't know if you've ever been on the MUT subreddit, but there's a lot of MUT talk and butt stuff. So, what do you guys think? How do you guys see this sub going into 18? Like, I mean, is there any changes that we're going to see, or any good stories? Oh, let's start with the changes. I just want to hear a couple things from you. Like, any other change we're going to get in 18? Joe?
On the MUT sub?
Yeah.
We'll get new player pictures.
New player pictures, that's about it?
We'll have a lot more, community posts and things, because most of the stuff now is, at giveaways and shit posts and all sorts of, there really isn't a whole lot of constructive talk, because a lot of the people have moved on. So,
does anybody know when Ultimate Legends drop?
Right.
It's a classic post. Yeah.
Yep.
So, you guys have any interesting stories besides for like Tails the Fox that everybody on this channel should know about? If you haven't watched that interview with him of mine, probably should. But what do you guys? Any interesting stories you got, Joe or Worms?
I think it's been pretty quiet.
Really? Nothing too crazy?
I mean, yeah, other than the weird scamming stuff, that was one thing. What did you guys think about the Rodney Hudson thing?
Oh, right.
That was just scamming and made me think about that.
He got everybody, bro. Yeah,
that was craziness.
Yeah, I clicked that account. This dude's not verified. This is fake. Immediately, I'm like, Derek Anderson got verified with 300 followers. Like, bruh, these dudes get verified so quickly.
I was hoping he'd show up. I was hoping he'd show up at off-season workouts and see what happened. Yeah, I'm Rodney Hudson. Here's my Twitter.
But he fooled a lot of people, and Adam Schefter followed him. They had a USA Today article that was written about him joining Twitter, and his own teammates are retweeting his tweets, and obviously got a lot of the MUT team fooled, and all in just an attempt to scam MUT cards in the end of June. It was just shocking.
What's kind of crazy to think about, like the fact that these dudes are so much like a star bleeper that they were out here just eating it up. Like, oh my God, he plays our game. He knows who we are. Let's follow him and try to set something up. Like, bruh, like these are just NFL players. He's a center too. Like, if it's Odell Beckham, I get it. This is a center. Why y'all out here acting like this dude, a female, being all thirsty?
Hey, offensive line is a very important part of the game.
It is, but it's not Odell Beckham though. This ain't Julio Jones. This is not Aaron Rodgers. This is a center that you can't even like. If he showed up to your house right now and he moving furniture, you would think he's a regular dude.
Yeah.
If it wasn't for the center, Odell Beckham would never catch touchdown passes because nobody would be able to snap the ball.
I mean, this left tackle is terrible, and he still does it. So I mean, I feel like you're wrong about that.
Ridiculous. Yeah. Yeah, no, about that, like, yeah, it was pretty crazy how the entire community just snapped up on it and chased after the celebrity, as minor as we've come to assume him to be. So weird. But I guess this game is kind of all based around following these guys and playing with these guys. To actually see that they share the same, how do you say it, passion as we do was probably something new for the community. It's not really shown too much, except, I mean, who was that running back that tweeted that nobody's ever beat him in Madden? Was it Rawls?
Thomas
Rawls.
Thomas
Rawls.
Yeah. Rawls.
He was verified.
Yeah, he was verified. So he obviously. So obviously they play the game of Madden, but MUT might be outside of their grasp still, based on maybe they're more casual or whatever. But we saw, like, even on Hard Knocks, who was playing on Hard Knocks? Was it Odell versus what's his name, the Texan guy, a couple years back?
Probably
Charles James.
Charles James.
Yeah.
The guy that called for the Madden tournament that Madden said he couldn't play because the NFL player.
Yeah, that's
that
right.
guy.
Yeah, Charles James. Yeah, that kind of sucks. Charles James wasn't able to play in the Madden tournament, but that's a while ago. Anyways, so what do you guys think about starting a solo grinding website?
I think it's pretty sly.
Oh,
Zing.
Yeah, no, I saw it on Twitter. Sly wants to start a solo grinding website. Is that something you guys are going to get into? Texas?
No, I priced out how much it costs someone to put my solo challenges, and dudes like $3 per sequence. I'm like, there's 100 sequences. I'm good.
Oh, for all
not worth my time. I mean, it's cool if you want to get the shit in the game, you get the money to spend. And I guess since I gotta spend money I make off YouTube anyway, because it's a tax write-off, I guess it makes sense for me to do this. I can save some time, but it's not something that I would be a customer to. But I understand the guys that don't want to play solo challenges and don't mind throwing money at the problem. So that's a good idea.
Yeah. How about you, Joe?
The purpose I play solos is to make coins so that I don't have to spend. So I wouldn't spend for it. I mean, maybe there's people that would. I know that, that there's been other people that do hire others to do their solos for them, but I would maybe hire my kid to do it. But
child labor laws, bro.
Right? Well, he's got
on you
for damaging him for playing solos. Yeah.
That's very cruel and unusual punishment. I don't think that's allowed in this system.
No, I mean, I guess I don't know. There's a lot of concerns with it. Do you pay for it? They get on your account, and then you can maybe get scammed, or I don't know. I mean, maybe there's a market for it if there's legitimate, but I think it would be pretty expensive, and I would just rather just do the solos myself. And I don't know.
Yeah,
that's just me.
Yeah, it makes a lot of points. Hey, Worms, how about you?
I wouldn't have any interest in it. I've made a couple jokes about hiring foreign contractors to play my solos for $4 an hour, but I don't think I would actually try to do it. I would just play them on remote play or something like that.
Oh, yeah, that's a good idea. So, do you have remote play with your PlayStation?
Yeah, I have a rooted phone, and so I have the remote play app on it.
Nice.
Yeah, he poops and does solos.
Who was that posted on the MUT subreddit? They took a picture from their bathroom of a card they pulled.
Oh, I don't remember who it was, but yeah, I remember that. That was good.
Yeah, that's what we imagine Worms doing solos is like.
Yeah, I've got a picture I'll send you.
Oh, sweet.
Ooh.
So we can see the interior of your house, huh? Maybe we can critique those drapes.
Yeah, they match the hardwood.
We just need a picture inside Gutfoxx's house.
Yeah, no, it's more of like a cardboard box than anything else.
Mm.
I'm Wireshark in this Skype chat.
Oh no.
Yes, Docs the Fox.
Anyways, let's end it before that goes through. Texas, anything else you want to say before we end it?
Is this a setup for me to tell my Dub Dot racist story?
Yeah, let's do it.
Ooh.
All right, so
we were gonna start with this. Sorry about this.
It's all right. It's cool. If you just stay to the end, you get a nice little story about me meeting. I didn't meet him, but me in the same building as somebody that I don't like. So last week, 2 weeks ago on the podcast, I went out to Vegas. So it was probably 3 weeks ago at this point. Gutfoxx said I was gonna meet up with Dub. He's gonna roll up on me, and how would that go? And apparently, that's pretty much how it went, except for the fact nobody said anything. So we're sitting there playing Madden 18, and Dub walks by behind us, and I just look at him and laugh. And then so I was like, "This is perfect. Of course, I'm supposed to be in this event, and I might get kicked out if he says something to me, because I'm gonna say something bad, and it's not gonna be nice." And so he sits down at our table, and he's just eyeing me, dude. Like he wants to throw hands. So apparently he might be hearing some of the stuff he's saying about him on the podcast. Also, doesn't help that anytime somebody puts an article out on Twitter about Madden races being showcased at these events, I retweet it, which is hilarious. And so he was just giving me a dirty look, man. Vic saw him, Volt saw him, and so I got witnesses to back this up. Wish I had my GoPro on him, because you guys would have seen he was giving me the death stare, but he didn't say anything to me. So I guess he wasn't trying to start none, because if he starts some, I was gonna finish it.
Tough. Hey, okay. First off, so you were there next to Volt and Vic.
Yeah.
And he was just looking at you.
Looking at me, staring at me.
Really?
Staring at me, bro. Staring at me.
But like, I didn't know if he knew what you look like.
People recognize me. I didn't get my hair braided before, unfortunately. I was looking at my hair braided before I went, but literally nobody wanted to take my money. I was going to places calling. I got $100 braid my hair. They're like, I can't fit you in. I'm just cancel somebody. I'm paying you more. I'm paying you double what it costs to get my hair braided, but I couldn't get my hair braided. I went there with my hair down, but I wore my glasses. I looked basically like myself. I got recognized by a subscriber, so I wasn't that undercover. Only person that recognized me there was Jake Stein.
He did recognize you.
No, he didn't recognize me.
Oh, Jake didn't. Well,
yeah, Guru did, and other people did, just not Jake.
Yeah, we weren't showing Jake our face though on that podcast.
We weren't, but also Jake seen my videos. So,
huh? Well, he was probably also overwhelmed. There were so many people he saw.
Probably so.
So interesting. Worms, have you ever met Dub?
I have not met very many of the current generation competitive players. I know that he would not have went over very well with the PS2 competitive players, though.
Oh, why is that?
I just think his attitude would have probably caught him a couple of black eyes, if not more.
Yeah, I did see some of those old school Madden tournaments. A lot of them often ended in fistfights, didn't they? Yeah,
more than a lot of them did.
Yeah, so I remember a story you told a while back about being at a mall and why you didn't think competitive Madden was going to really succeed because of the attitudes in the community around it. Do you remember what story I'm talking about?
There are probably a bunch of different ones. Are you talking about the one with the
mom and the kid?
White dude?
Oh.
Yeah. So, yeah, there was a random casual white guy, which was the only way white dudes showed up to Madden tournaments back then were casuals and me. And so he's sitting here trying to play this guy that's got 6 of his friends with him. And we're in the middle of the indie mall, and his friends are all railing, yelling at the top of their lungs, yada, yada, whatever kind of trash talk we used to do back in the early 2000s. And so this lady's walking by with her kid, and right around the time this one guy says, "I'll fucking kill you, honky." And she, her eyes got so big, she was like, "Oh my God," and grabbed her kid and took off away from where they had the tournament set up. And I think there was just so much of that combined with all the fights that would break out that anybody that EA would try to get sponsorship from would just be like, "I don't want to have anything to do with that."
So that's why competitive Madden died the first time.
I think so. Yeah, and you can just watch Madden Buffs or watch any of those Madden challenges and see the attitudes that everyone had and the personas that everyone put off. And it just, casual Madden players didn't want to have anything to do with that.
And you think that's changed at all? Or do you think there's a little bit of that left?
I think that Jake and Matt Marcoux and those guys are doing a good job. Like what happened with Dubby of, hitting his purse and then letting those guys know, this isn't going to be acceptable, where we didn't have any of that before. Like you got into a fist fight on Saturday in Chicago and then you showed up Sunday in Milwaukee and you were allowed right in the tournament, no big deal. Where I think if something like that goes on now, the commissioner and whoever runs the competitive aspect of it is not going to let, if you cause something to happen, you're not going to be allowed back for ever or for a predetermined amount of time.
Interesting. All right. Now, do you think casual Madden players are going to get in more into competitive Madden?
I think that they already have gotten a lot more into it than what it used to be. And I was going to take a jab at somebody that qualified for a tournament, but I can't think anybody off the top of my head. But I think even now, like, I'm seeing people qualify for these tournaments that I've never heard of before.
Yeah.
So, there's a lot of the older people like Problem, or like, who else is an old guy that's been qualifying? Drag, I think, has been around for a long time. But there's a lot of newer guys that I've never heard of either on Twitch or I've never played in head-to-head games.
Yeah.
That are qualifying for these things. So I think it's more open to casual Madden players, or
I think just
not maybe casuals, but
younger
people that don't go at it the way that the guys that stream 40 hours a week do.
Yeah, I mean, I know the streaming community. There's a lot of different characters in that, and when you say you don't recognize them, I mean, every year there's a youngster or two that comes up and takes the game by storm, it seems. So I don't know about calling them casual so much as just too young to be recognized, and they're making their chops every year. Like Madden 18, there's going to be, I guarantee in Madden 18 there's going to be a new YouTuber that surpasses me in subs within like a couple months. It's going to be like 4 or 5 of them. There's going to be a new competitive player that makes a final in the tournament that we've never heard about. So it happens every year with Madden because it's a yearly game and people kind of really get passionate about it. So, and every year kind of plays a little differently. That's just my opinion. But
well, I think it happens too that every year there'll be 1 or 2 new guys that, due to something with that year's version of the game, allows them to qualify. So let's say somebody qualified this year off of the swerve. Like, let's take Volt. So what's Volt going to be able to do next year when he can't swerve? And we may never see him at another competitive tournament because he was good at swerve, but he wasn't good at much else.
Yeah.
And every year, like you had guys 2 years ago that were good at the game because they ran play action end around. And then last year, you never saw them because they couldn't run play action end around. They couldn't beat anybody.
Very true. Texas? Any thoughts on that? Like with people coming up and if competitive community, if competitive's gaining people versus the old days?
It kind of has to. Cause I don't think in the old days they were offering as much money. So just based off the amount of money that's in play for grabs, like they're going to be getting more people to be playing the game. Just I know a lot of YouTubers next year are going to go directly into making sure that they can try to qualify for these tournaments and see if they can get their hands on these big pool prizes. So I think just based off that.
What YouTubers? You think
well, I know Vic's going to try.
Really?
I know Vic's going to try. Based on talks he had out there in Vegas, so he's gonna try to do that as well. And I think Sly's another one as well. So
he tried
a few guys.
Sly tried in 15 or to 16 to qualify, right? He did qualify actually, and he won.
I think he did qualify, yeah. But like the money in 16 was the money what it was this year. So I think the more money that's put into it, the more people are going to be basically trying to convince their wife and other spouses to try to I want to do this full time and try to get their own. Was it Skimbo or
the
one that did all that shit where he quit his job?
He quit his job to play Madden full time. Yeah,
I thought he got fired.
Was that who won the last tournament?
Well, Skimbo got fired, I thought, from his job for some old racist tweets that he sent out.
Oh, so did the article just lie and say he quit, took a year off? That was the article said he took a year off.
Yeah, no, he who's Yo Mama made some videos.
No, it was Sly. Sly made the video that got him fired, I think.
Oh, so yeah, I thought it was Yo Mama. He probably made a better version of it. But yeah, he got fired from his job, I think, and didn't quit his job to become a full-time Madden player.
Okay.
Yeah,
it worked out for him though in the end. $100,000 just in the bank. Well, probably not $100,000, probably like 80 since they take a lot of money in taxes, depending on all that shit they do.
Well, he's probably made a lot. he's probably made a lot more than that because a lot of money gets thrown around in hotel rooms at those tournaments too.
Makes sense. Yeah.
Doing what? We talking blowies or what?
Well, that and just cash games.
Fair enough. All right. Hey, Joe, I haven't heard from you in a little bit. What is your thought on this whole competitive community? Is it growing, or is it kind of staying similar to what it was last year, or what?
I think it's a little bit bigger, but I think that's just because the prize pool is bigger and there's some more people trying to qualify. But
viewership-wise?
Viewership-wise, I think it was actually worse this year than last year, if I remember correctly. Yeah. But
nobody wants to watch Nickel Blitz 2 all game.
Right. And that's why I think, squads is new. And I don't know. I know the competitive community doesn't seem to want to embrace that and use that for one of the tournaments. But why wouldn't they just do the last tournament, make it a fifth one, an extra one, have it be whatever amount of the prize pool, and just have it be a squads tournament in June or July? Give a reason to keep playing the game, because they end the competitive stuff earlier than that. So
it can also extend the events and make them a little bit longer, and to just have the guys that are there that qualify just have squads team just to play for some extra money on the side.
Sure.
I think squads probably to overtake the viewership numbers than regular. I think EA may focus on that in Madden 2 years from now, but Madden next year, at least from what we gather from the podcast did with Jake, we're not going to see any squads at all next year for competitive.
It wasn't in the roadmap at the time, but that doesn't mean it can't change here.
True. I guess I want to see what it does on YouTube, because my guess is you're going to see a lot of crazy numbers on YouTube for MUT squads next year.
Well, here's the thing with it. Like other games, does FIFA have squads?
FIFA has their FIFA thing where you can play with like 8 people, I think.
So is that bigger on YouTube than the regular FIFA Ultimate Team?
I don't think so, because FIFA Ultimate Team is mostly packs still. It's not really like the actual, the whole facet of the game. It's just mostly pack pulls that are not most view stuff on FIFA.
Huh.
I think the NHL version is probably bigger on YouTube than regular NHL. Because you can do 6-on-6 in NHL.
I've seen some NHL videos of both, and it's kind of mixed. But yeah, I think I know what you're saying. Yeah, it is kind of big. So, all right, cool. I got nothing else. What about you, Joe? Anything?
No, not really.
Worms, anything you want to chat about? Anything else on your mind?
I don't have anything else. If anybody needs a drop-in goalie in NHL 18.
What's your MUT squad gonna look like? Who you got recruited?
I got a couple people. I got Quads, the guy that's got the gold 99 Chad Johnson.
Nice.
And then I think Neon, one of the other mods, will probably be on our squad. And then I think I'm gonna run a squad with Cyrus, and then my lab partner. So I'm probably gonna be doing double duty.
So how are you gonna qualify with all that squad stuff going on?
I play a lot.
Nice. Fair enough. How about you, Joe? You got a squad together yet?
No, not necessarily, but I mean, I think it'll just. I think maybe putting your team together will be a little bit more into it, like whether you want to spend more on offense or defense, and then getting together with your friends and seeing what your other friends are doing. Yeah. If someone's got more of an offensive team, then you're like, hey, let's just go play squads. I'm more interested in MUT today, but because I haven't played squads, so I don't really know. Other than I didn't play 25, so I didn't play the team play in 25. So other than the one time we did it on stream a couple weeks ago, it was just cool. I had a lot of fun, but I'll probably be more focused on regular MUT, trying to get whatever, figuring out, MUT Master and that kind of stuff, and then just doing squads when other people are available.
Yeah, Joe's going to have a God squad, but insist on being the coach.
Yep. Agreed.
Just so, yeah.
Hey,
somebody's got to call those timeouts.
That's right.
Hey, Texas.
Manage the clock.
Yeah, how about you? You got a squad together yet?
I got a concept, mostly, it's me and Vic, and then we're going to figure out a third person, whether that be MMG or repping the 4-0 One?
Who's that?
Met the guy. New YouTuber. Met him out at EA Play. Cool dude. I'm gonna try to get him on Green of the Squad. I think he's kind of in trouble right now, so maybe he can like do some charity work and work with some YouTubers.
I don't know if that'll qualify in prison.
I mean, you never know. Like community service, and he works some at-risk youth.
Are you an at-risk youth?
I can be if I need to be. I can qualify for it. Like I'm doing YouTube to stay out of jail. Like I can maybe finesse that into making it into some of my videos. So
is that why you skipped state? Stay out of jail.
Had to, bro. Yeah, bro. I had a warrant out for my arrest out in Texas, but it can't get me out in Colorado. Safe.
I figured all your exes lived in Texas. That's why you reside in.
No. I had 99 problems in the bitch ain't one.
There it is. All right. Yep. Well, that's it for the Muttman podcast for this week. Thanks everybody for being on. Thanks for chilling, dudes. And I guess I'll talk to y'all later.